save on essentials, and more.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? We're back to the second episode of the Not Okay podcast. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit more about some things that we enjoy quite a bit, and that's movies and entertainment. We're going to kind of look at the Oscar nominations for this year and kind of, our thoughts on them, some movies and TV shows that we've thoroughly enjoyed through 2023. And just want to share that with you guys.
Yeah. So really one cool thing that I really enjoy every year, I don't know if you know, like CNN and some of these other places, not just CNN, but like Fox, ABC, all of them, they do like this end of the year review, of everything that's kind of happened throughout 2023. Well, I kind of wanted to do that for shows and movies. So, the first thing that we wanted to cover is the Oscars. Some people don't like award shows, but I think it is a decent litmus test of the, what is good art for them right now. So what is being produced. Like, I'm not a full-on critic, and we can get into, like we were talking about the other day, about how on the last podcast, this isn't a strictly art-based decision-making or voting for this nomination process and stuff. There is some politics and things that go into it. There is backdoor parties and a lot of money that's spent marketing your film to try to get it into.
And I'm kind of on the fence on whether or not I disagree with that 100%. Because I've kind of been thinking about it the past few days as I've been doing some research on this. And I kind of view the Oscars as more of kind of like how we treat the Olympics, right? Where like we don't let professional athletes, or I guess technically we do now, but used to we didn't let professional athletes compete in the Olympics. It was all amateurs.
Okay.
All right. And these big box office movies, they have millions and millions of dollars that they spend on publicity, right? And if you can get some free publicity to the guys who maybe didn't have the budget for the advertisement, and kind of just show some more like up and coming.
So you're saying that some of these movies, okay. You're trying to tell me that these movies are picked strictly because they're good art. Not because they had a big marketing budget. Not because, obviously, it's not always a direct correlation that popularity and good art are going to be the same, right?
Right.
Sometimes the highest grossing box office movie of that year is complete trash.
Yes, 100%.
As far as the art form goes. But clearly it was entertaining if it made $250-something billion across, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, not going down the entertainment rabbit hole. But so what you're telling me is that maybe, just maybe, a independent film was really good and the Oscars picked it up.
Yes.
And they said, we recognize it. You didn't spend $250 million making your movie. $50 million of that wasn't for marketing and budgeted for marketing. And now a lot of people are going to watch your movie because we nominated it.
Right. And I think there's a lot of good storytellers out there that can't afford a big name actor, or maybe just can't like bring in the financing needed to put together what's needed to make a movie popular. Because I kind of don't believe that just because something's good, it's going to get picked up by culture. Right. And if it does get picked up by culture, it may take years before it gets picked up by culture.
What do you mean by picked up by culture?
Like
become popular?
Yeah, become popular.
Okay.
Right. So like if we look at here, let me pull these up real quick. All right, we're gonna go. I want to share the screen with you guys. All right, so we're looking at some nominations. I'm not particularly worried about the actresses and leading support. I want to look at the actual movies. Let's see here. and some of the documentary, like short films and things like that, I think this is really good for, right? There's a lot of documentarians, a lot of short filmmakers that, I mean, it's just not a money-making thing, right? And they make good stuff.
Okay.
All right, so here we got Best Picture. All right, I don't know, like, I know I haven't kept up with movies as much as I have in the past, right? But like American Fiction, I don't know that I saw a single advertisement for it this year.
You did. You just don't remember it.
Maybe.
You did. I promise you did.
Yeah.
If you watched anything, it just wasn't everywhere. That we're so used to being inundated that with marketing now, that if it's not just in your face, like shoved in your face, you kind of miss it. I guarantee you did. Did you watch the trailer for that?
Yeah, it looks really good, actually.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Right. At least. And what is it? Jeffrey Wright, I think, is the one that's nominated for Best Actor for that.
Yeah. Let me go up here and look.
Yeah, that's what's. This is kind of why I like bouncing back, because they usually correlate. Okay.
Leading role.
Yeah, Jeffrey Wright, American Fiction, there at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, so I haven't seen it. Neither one of us have seen it. Okay, so I think that this is really kind of important, because I think we align a little bit more with the average viewer now, right? I haven't seen everything, but hey, what am I excited about? What am I interested in? Does this, are these Oscar nominations are they gonna give the bump to viewership that we're interested in as well? Like, so, I don't just think because we haven't watched these movies or anything that we're not. I don't want to say that we don't know what we're not. I mean, of course, I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to the movie itself. But what I'm trying to say is I am one that falls into that category of like, okay, if it was nominated, I'll give it a shot, right? I mean, it was nominated for something. But I'm also a little different of a viewer than some people. I can watch a movie and enjoy it just for the cinematography.
Right. And
just for the original music, or just for a performance itself. The movie may suck.
Yeah.
But the performance was great, right?
I would even go one step further in that, like, I will watch something that is nominated, and it might be a good film and good artistry, but it just might not be my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And that's like Bradley Cooper here in Maestro. It looks like a movie I won't like. I'm probably not going to watch it. I'll never watch it.
Remind me what it's about.
It is about, I believe it's about one of the first famous musical, what are they? Conductor. Sorry. I had a brain fart there for a second. Yeah, it's about one of the first, like, popular American conductors.
Okay.
And it follows the guy's life and his love for his girlfriend / wife that they get on and off again. It's basically following this guy. It's people who are probably into that genre of music and have like appreciated this guy's music may love this movie, right?
Okay.
But most people aren't going to find it interesting enough.
I mean, that's kind of most of these movies on here, right? I think the highest grossing movie on this list, which is, if you go down back to best, nominated for best movie.
There's a lot of categories.
Best picture. Yeah. All right. So here we are. They increased this category, I think, a couple years back, actually, too. I mean, so Barbie is probably the highest grossing, and then Oppenheimer right behind it, which...
Actually, I don't think so. Well, no, I think you're right, actually, yeah. So, Barbie was ahead by a lot.
No doubt. I mean, we've got some numbers that we'll pull up.
Oppenheimer, if I'm not mistaken, did $450 million in the box office.
Yeah.
Okay. Barbie did $1.4 billion in the box office.
Yeah, it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I mean, do you remember when these two movies were released, how people were doing the double feature?
Mm-hmm.
How I found that so odd.
Yeah, and I don't
The
know
reason-
how they're like categorizing that in the box office, right? Like I don't know how they're
No,
breaking
I mean,
up.
no, individually. I mean,
Yeah.
they're both. I mean, you're buying a ticket to both, right?
Yeah, and
But I'm just saying, like the double fee, the weird stuff people. Honestly, I'm a true believer that we're lemmings. I think one person on Twitter was like, "Hey, you know, it would be a good idea.
yeah,
I'm gonna go watch Barbie because it's funny, and then Oppenheimer because it's about bombs and nuclear war." And now, look, don't mind me. Don't get me wrong. Oppenheimer is heavy, and I will have to admit I haven't seen Barbie yet, and I have 2 young girls. Shame on me, but my girls are younger, and I've kind of heard that there is some suggestive stuff in there for young kids, but if they're young enough for it to go over there, anyways, doesn't matter. That's just a weird kind of trendy thing that people did. Do you think that drove the numbers for both those movies, or do you think people were going to go see
So-
Barbie anyways?
I think people were going to see Barbie anyway, and Oppenheimer latched on. And
I mean, they didn't latch on. Nobody had anything to do with that from Oppenheimer.
Well,
Not
I'm
one
saying-
of those marketing teams marketed, or,
Yeah, I'm-
or they did, and they're genius. I don't
Because-
know. Are they the same studios?
you've seen Oppenheimer, right?
I have.
I've seen it as well, and I found it interesting. I did not think it was as great as people said it was.
Okay.
I thought some of the court scenes were really good.
Okay. Why? Okay. Why don't you think it? Give me the bad.
The movie was sluggish. All right. And I get the subject matter isn't exactly exhilarating when there's not bombs going off, right? But and the special effects didn't draw me in. Hardly.
There is no special effects.
Well,
There's not supposed to.
they
be.
did some bomb, like they set off some like gas bombs and filmed some up close stuff, and like, and maybe that's the problem.
But
maybe,
you don't want that to steal that. I don't want the if
Mm-hmm.
I'm Christopher Nolan, I don't want that to take away from the story of my movie, right?
right.
I don't want that to be the thing people
Mm-hmm.
talk about when they watch my movie. Like, oh yeah, I had 20 seconds of CGI and it was the best part of the movie. You have failed as a director if you do that.
I understand that, but
Okay.
I'm of the mindset that bad CGI can ruin an entire movie.
If there's a lot of it, yeah. But if there's not that much of it, who cares? I think we've gotten to a place where it doesn't matter. I personally believe that. It does not ruin a film for me.
Yeah. And maybe let me back up a little bit, because I don't think it was a bad movie.
Okay.
All right.
You just didn't enjoy it as much as everybody hyped
Yeah,
it up. You know it's
people-
gonna win, right? I mean, it's gonna win.
Uh,
It's gonna win Best Picture.
I think that or American Fiction will.
No,
American Fiction did the circuit on the like film festival side. Okay.
Okay.
Before it ever went to theater.
Okay.
And I think it's going to have the more of the support of that crowd. I think people are going to be like, Oppenheimer, you made your money. We're going to give this.
I hope it doesn't work like that. I don't know. I don't know how people vote, and I genuinely don't want to use this to have an argument over winning or losing. I that's not really my. I kind of want it to just highlight what I like to do with this, and one reason why I like to use especially Best Picture category as not a lot of people are just going to go out and pick this movie to go watch,
Yeah.
right? So I want people to understand that you have to kind of broaden your horizons a little bit, and you may, if you just do that and watch one of these films that are clearly good films that may not be exactly your cup of tea, you still may get some entertainment value out of it. Maybe you watch
Yes.
something and find it entertaining that you never would have picked up, right?
Yeah. And this, I think you're 100% right. But like, and I'm being very critical of Oppenheimer and I think the reason I'm being very critical of it is like, all I heard was this is the best thing that's come out this year over and over and over. And I watched it.
So were you hearing that like on social media? Would you say
I
that
think
in
so.
news?
I think a lot of the advertisements, a a lot of the people talking about the movie were and even like people I know personally that went and watched it, they loved it, and
then just the critics that they just shove down your throat.
yeah, and I think it just got way overinflated for me. And
Excuse me.
and I don't know. I think it definitely deserves an award, but I don't know that it should get Best Picture. But I mean, to be fair, I've only seen 2 of the movies on the Best Picture list.
Which ones?
I've seen Killers of the Flower Moon,
Oh yeah.
and Oppenheimer. And of those 2, I would pick Oppenheimer over Killers of the Flower Moon.
I hear Emma Stone's performance in Poor Things is amazing.
I saw the trailer for that, and I want to see it very, very badly. It looks very interesting.
Yeah. Especially if you've got a medical marijuana card. No, for real, it looks trippy as all
It
get out.
is definitely trippy.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
I want to. I think what I want to move on to next. I think a good transition here is let's move on to. I've got a list here of some things that I kind of want to talk about, or just kind of mention that I did see in 2023, and you may or may not have seen it, that I definitely feel like need to be mentioned on things that you need to go back and watch. So let me preface this.
Okay.
Right now, I was kind of thinking about on our way over here. We have several topics that we want to talk about when it comes to streaming, right?
Yes.
But I just want to hint on one real quick, and it's not even really something that we have to discuss, but to me, streaming services right now, when I catch myself flipping through streaming services, it reminds me when I was a kid or anytime recently that I've walked into a bookstore.
Yes.
And I run into a bookstore and I am completely, I mean, there's thousands of books everywhere, right? And you've got your list of New York Times bestsellers and the top 10 books for that week or month or whatever it may be. And then you have just your categories. There is so much available content now that wasn't like that for a long time, that it is unbelievably overwhelming for the average viewer. Not only for you to even be able to set foot in that bookstore, you've got to have 5 subscriptions.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be paying $100 out of your pocket, which a lot of people aren't going to do.
No, they're not. And that just goes, but people were paying $100 for their cable subscription before, right? But your content was catered to you.
Yeah, now look, that money has changed. It's just transitioned, right? Because people are still running live TV. It's either Hulu Live, YouTube Live,
Right.
Whatever your choice is, and then you're paying another $100 in subscriptions a month. You're still paying $225 with your internet and everything for your multimedia, right? For your telecommunications.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
So, with that being said, because I walk into that bookstore and it's extremely overwhelming, I'm not gonna lie. I use that New York Times bestseller list to sometimes to be able to pick a movie, right?
Yeah.
I really like the feature that Netflix started that these other subscriptions have kind of jumped on the bandwagon, is they use their algorithm of what's being downloaded and how many times it's being played, and it basically just said, okay, we're going to put this on a list for everybody else. This is what everybody else is watching.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't always lead to good. I'm not saying that. It just leads to popular, right? It
does. But I wonder, okay, how important is it for us to be connected with the people around us on what we watch?
Okay, so now you bring up a whole different. Now that is a good question, right?
Like,
so I want to be able to. That is actually a really good question. So when you go to the office, now that we're going back to the office, or you're going to have drinks with your friends. We talk media now. We talk shows. What shows are you watching? That's what everybody says, right? Like, and you have to watch these popular shows to be able to talk about them.
Yep.
To be able to fit into that conversation. I think that plays into it for sure.
I think it's important for us to be able to communicate with other people and bond with other people over the media that we ingest. Okay.
I mean,
Like,
that's a
not-
deep version of what I was trying to say, but yeah.
And like I think we used to do it with music, back whenever, you just had the music that was in going on in your car. Nobody had headphones in. We just shared music together, right? You suffered through some music that you didn't like, right? To build relationships with the people around you.
Oh, well, yeah, I think it's important to be exposed to,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't, I think we get trapped in this loop of confirmation biasism where we only listen to the things we like. We only talk to the people that, instead of exposing ourselves. I think we all like to just be wrapped up in this perfectly comfortable bubble, right? And if we expose ourselves to things that may make us a little bit uncomfortable, we may be able to open up our horizons and find that we like things that we wouldn't have necessarily watched, listened to, talked about, whatever it may be.
Sorry, that was a really big side note, but I think we could go down a rabbit hole forever talking about stuff like that. But you back to your list of things.
Oh no,
yeah.
no. So I just have a couple on here. I went through. All right, so let me tell you how I kind of found my list. I'll be completely honest. What I did is I went into IMDb and I searched from January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023, everything that came out. And I went through the first 500 things, and this was shows and movies. And I just kind of want to be like, all right, yeah, I watched that. I picked that. I did that. I like that. All right, this was kind of underrated. I want to start with a movie that was written by Sam Esmail. And he was the guy that wrote and directed Mr. Robot. It was a show that came on USA. And the movie is Leave the World Behind. And if you haven't seen this movie yet, I'm not going to ruin it for you, but it is it is very heavy. The entire movie, it kind of feels like you've got this weird weight on your shoulder. He does a brilliant job of building that suspense. But it leaves you, here's the best part of this movie. It leaves you walking away feeling super creeped out.
Okay.
And I don't want to spoil about how, but it is definitely worth watching. You need to give it a look. And if you love this movie, then you need to go back and watch Mr. Robot because it is fantastic. Mr. Robot is great.
Okay. I have not seen that. So
have you not?
I have not seen it. So that's definitely one I'll check out.
You definitely need. And so number one, and I'm gonna try to just highlight some of these next. If you have not watched The Last of Us on HBO Max, dude,
it is so good.
It is unbelievably good, and I loved the video game. It's one of my favorite video games of all time. And then when I found out that they were turning it into a show, I got super excited and was so scared they were gonna it was gonna fall short.
Yeah,
and dude, they
nailed it.
Knocked it out of the park.
I have never played the game, but I absolutely loved the TV series. It was
interesting.
It was so good, and if you're into like post-apocalyptic things, right, and it's like the perfect TV show. Like it's way better than Walking Dead. It's way better than anything like that. The story is great. Well, what's his name? Pascal.
Pedro Pascal.
Maybe one of the best actors of 2023 as far as like content that's come out. Like he kind of had a movement.
Oh yeah, I think
over this year.
Yeah,
or last year.
Just in the past couple years, right? Really weird how late in his career he became super popular. Yeah, right. That's a good take. I like that hot take.
Yeah, the movie he did with Nicolas Cage.
I can't remember the name of that, but have you seen it?
I have. It is so funny. It will probably end up being a cult classic. I don't think
1,000%.
It will never catch on in the mainstream, but it will be a cult classic.
All right, hold on. Okay, so I've got to look it up now because I don't remember the name of it. And sadly enough, it is not on my list. That makes me so angry that it is not on my list. All right, so the next was, we have spent hours talking about this show. I could do an entire podcast on just this show. But It is Silo on Apple Plus.
Yeah, and this is a series I have actually read the books, and the TV show is better.
Well, okay, all right, that's an interesting take.
All right, the way that they bring the characters to life and the way that they accent characters that aren't big in the book and like bring them to the forefront was a great decision. And I am just waiting for season 2 to come out to see where they go next. Cause like the books are good. But I think there's a better way to move through the story than the books did. That is more interesting for film.
Okay.
And that's one I'm super excited about. And one day we probably will do just a podcast on the show Silo.
Yeah, so I definitely don't want to ruin anything for anybody, and we would put out spoiler alerts on our taglines before we started talking in depth about a show, but I would love to dive into that as well. So this next one is one that I watched not too long ago, and it is called Self-Reliance.
Okay.
And it is it's about a guy. All right, let me find. First off, The Massive Weight of Talent, I think is
The Massive Weight of Talent.
I think is the name of that movie. Let me double check. Hold on. Sorry, everybody. Let me double check here. I think that is the name of it. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Sorry.
Yes.
That was the Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage movie. It's fantastic.
Yep.
And
Nicolas Cage gets to play himself, which
I was really proud of him for
Yeah.
really kind of being able to make fun of himself, and he was really good in that.
Mhm.
So let me look up real quick here. I can never remember the actors' names. Y'all are going to quickly learn if you keep listening to our podcast that I'm terrible with names.
Do you want me to pull up the trailer for this?
Yeah, if you want to. The main character's name is Jake Johnson, and I think he was the one that was in. I get him and the guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia mixed up.
Mm-hmm. And what's the name of the show?
Self-Reliance. This was actually really good, and so it's about a guy, and I don't really want to.
So it's a Hulu show. Self-Reliance.
It was a Hulu movie. It just came out.
Oh, this is the.
You, the. Hi. Are you the actor Andy Samberg?
I am.
I'm a big fan, man.
Oh, thank you very much. Hey, I got a question for you. You want to get in? Thomas Walcott, single, no children, no dependents. Job is network management, physically fit. Guess they're not too strict about that one. I'm joking. Kind of serious, though.
You have been selected to partake in the biggest reality show in the dark web. There will be people trying to kill you, the hunters.
What are you talking about? There's people trying to murder me? Oh, shit. Very much so.
You will have 30 days to survive. You will only be killed when you are alone.
So let me get this straight. You cannot touch me if I'm with someone, and then I get $1 million. What are you doing?
What are you doing, man? Why'd you leave my side?
I had to take a shit.
Why didn't you wake me up and bring me with you?
Because I'm taking a shit.
Let's play.
What the fuck is this?
This is James, my new friend.
He pays me to shadow him.
You cannot have this person sleeping in mom's house.
Are you gonna shadow me?
No.
Are you gonna shadow me?
No. Shit.
Are you gonna shadow me?
I don't want to take away James's job. This is gonna end badly.
Aren't there other people playing the game who could hang out with you?
Just say it. You're not gonna.
No, I'm not gonna murder you. Are you gonna murder me?
No, I want to be on the same team as you.
You want to spend all our time together after knowing me for 5 minutes?
Let's fucking win together. You can't kill us if we're together, right?
Okay, good night. I hope no one murders
So
either.
you kind of gotten the whole just through that. You kind of got the
Yeah.
whole thing. So honestly, what the trailer doesn't do is it doesn't do a good job of they make it seem more like it's a comedy. Comedy is in this is actually just kind of a sidebar. It
Yeah.
does actually really hit on some good dramatic topics, and it is absolutely worth the watch. So that was Self-Reliance on Hulu.
It actually looks really good.
No, it is.
Yeah.
It really was.
And you say it's a movie, it's not a TV
surprisingly,
show?
yeah, it's a movie, not a TV show.
Okay.
Surprisingly good, with a pretty good ending. The biggest surprise of 2023 came on Netflix, and it was a live action version of an anime show called One Piece.
Okay, yeah.
Unbelievably entertaining.
It was
Never watched the anime.
Yep.
Dove straight into the live action, had zero idea of what it was going to be like, and they killed it. It was unbelievably entertaining.
It was really good, and the main character was so positive. He just made you feel happy while you watched the show. And I don't like very few shows actually bring you joy. Like I think one show that does that well is like the first season of Ted Lasso.
Just every season of Ted Lasso.
Every season of Ted Lasso, right?
But yeah.
But I think One Piece tapped into that with the main character. And
Well, man, I've never watched the anime, but apparently the anime is exactly like that. Like that like he nailed it, right? And I mean those characters, the live action actors had an entire, library of characters to look at that they could model after, and apparently it is almost word for word for the animated. So I think the actors did a really good job in bringing it back. But yes, the positivity and how,
like, I just had fun watching that show.
right, it was
Like,
entertaining.
It was
Right,
entertaining
right,
and it was
right.
fun. And the little things in it that we would probably criticize most of the time, I think we overlooked because of how fun the show was.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about, and the show can seem campy at times, right?
Yeah.
Them trying to make the transition from anime to live action, and it freaking works, dude.
It works really well.
I didn't think I was gonna like it, but it worked. I was completely blown away with how good that show was, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it broke all kinds of Netflix records.
It did. It broke a lot.
Like even
of
more than
records.
Stranger Things.
And I don't know if you've seen other like anime to live action stuff. Most of it's not good.
No,
Most of it's terrible. Like
I think I tried. I think one time watching a live action version of Cowboy Bebop,
yeah,
and it was terrible.
it was bad. It was the same way. Like I tried watching the live action version of Death Note, and it was
I
just
don't even know what that is.
just terrible.
Anyways, all right. So look, if you haven't watched One Piece, they greenlit a second season, so a second season's coming out. But with the writer strike and everything, and the actor strike, who knows when it's going to be coming out? But it is greenlit. If you haven't seen the first season, do yourself a favor, go watch it.
Yes.
All right, here's one that a guy at work really got into, and I only watched a couple episodes, but the couple episodes that I saw were really, really good. And this comes on Peacock, and it was a show called Poker Face.
Okay.
And it was about a girl who travels around, and she's kind of like this nomad, and she solves crimes. And like each episode is like a certain stop in her destination, but they ultimately are all different little small crimes that she solves, but they all kind of tie together.
Okay.
And come and tell a complete story towards the end. Extremely, extremely good. Worth the watch, especially if you're into like murder mysteries and stuff like that, or crime solving shows. Fantastic. Here's another one that I genuinely thought was going to win a ton of awards, and it came on mine and your favorite streaming platform, Apple Plus, and it's called Shrinking.
Yes, it is so good.
It's so well written. The comedy is unbelievable.
I actually rewatched the first season the other day. It is the way the characters build relationships and work, and the storytelling, and just the struggle of a dad and his daughter, and the comic relief of him being a therapist trying to help people with their problems while his life is a mess, is just an absolutely great storyline and offers an amazing amount of humor.
Yeah, and I mean, how can you How can you go wrong with Harrison Ford's dry humor in that show too? I mean, it's Harrison Ford people.
is deceptively funny.
He's got some good. He's got some comedic chops. Doesn't
I think he might be the funniest person in that show. Like as far as like laughing the hardest, not as much.
True.
Like when I think about when I laugh the hardest, it's probably Harrison Ford.
Yeah. So when he's making fun of Jason Segel's character, whose name is Jimmy, that's the best part, right?
Yeah.
Like when he's just in their interaction and do yourself a favor, watch Shrinking. It should have gotten nominated and won a bunch of awards.
If you don't have a subscription to Apple TV,
change that right now.
I would, even
Worth
if
it.
you have to temporarily delete one of your other streaming services,
1000%.
delete that
Yes.
and go through the Apple TV category of TV shows. You will have weeks of content, if not months of content, that is just absolutely phenomenal.
They're dominating.
Yeah.
Right now, it's not even close.
When it comes to storytelling, there's no one
Not
touching
even
them.
close. I haven't watched something on that and been like, this was terrible. It may have been like, this wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But it wasn't terrible. I mean, we just got done. It's not on my list, but we just got done watching Monarch, which is part of this new Godzilla universe or whatever, which I think is going to be awesome.
Yeah. And if they keep going with it, I think it's going to revitalize the monster universe.
Yeah, that would be so cool. I mean, they did a great job.
Everyone's messed up the monster universe so far, except for.
Well, when they rebooted
Apple.
Godzilla, and I made you watch this not too long ago in 2014, that kind of rebooted this whole thing, and it's amazing. Those guys did a great job, and it kind of kicked off this whole monster universe thing.
And if I'm not mistaken, the Monarch show is in the same universe as the Godzilla 2014. I think they follow the same.
No,
lore.
they do. No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
they're
That's what
100%.
they're talking about. That incident in San Francisco was the movie. That's why I made you watch the movie,
Right.
because that is G Day, as they talk about in that show. Anyways, watch it. It's good. Look, get what I'm coming away from this, and I think I have maybe another one on here from Apple Plus. There isn't a ton of movies, but there are a few movies on there that are really, really good too. 2 Tom Hanks movies that are really good to watch on Apple Plus. Get an Apple Plus subscription. If you've been on the fence, or if you're like, I don't want to get another subscription, I don't blame you. It's getting a little out of control, but get Apple Plus.
Yeah.
You will not be disappointed. It is, I mean, just Ted Lasso. We haven't even talked about Ted Lasso. I mean, it wasn't in 2023.
Yeah,
but
that is 3 seasons of just great content, and like I'm not exaggerating when I say it's worth canceling one of your other subscriptions until you get through the content on Apple TV.
I will warn you though, once you subscribe, you will never cancel it.
No, and it's cheaper than the other ones. I think they bumped it to $7.99 a month.
I don't pay those bills. My lovely wife does, so I have no idea. I don't look at them because I'm going to do it anyways. It's just kind of ignorance for me.
Yep.
She wants to get rid of subscriptions all the time, and I'm like, no, I'll watch something on that. Can't do it. Even if it's one show, I'm doing it. All right, moving down the list. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. The new season of The Bear.
Okay, so this is one show that I have been told to watch by hundreds of people, and I have not done it yet. And I'll tell you, the primary reason is I just don't have Hulu. And I'm gonna have to bite the bullet, and I'm gonna have to pay for a couple months of Hulu.
Well, if we're gonna do this podcast, you're gonna have to bite the bullet.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to bite the bullet.
I mean, if we're gonna talk shows and movies,
but honestly, everyone I've ever talked to has brought this show up. Like they bring it up and tell me about it. And they rant and rave about how good it is.
It's amazing. And the reason, I mean, I know I keep using, I want to have a better descriptive word, but I'm also not here to kind of tell you. I'm really more of just trying to recommend these shows. I'm not here to really describe or talk about them just yet.
Yeah.
This show is so well acted and so well written that not only, I mean, this new season is obviously getting recognized by the Emmys and stuff, and the lead actor, I can't remember his name. My wife is screaming at her TV right now because she knows his name. She loves him. He just won Best Actor. Anyways, it just gives you this weird. Okay, disclaimer. There are several episodes in this show, and it's obviously done on purpose, but where they talk over each other. There's a lot of talking over each other, and there is a ton of screaming and it's a lot of chaos, and I think it's
Yeah.
designed that way. And obviously, if you've ever worked in a restaurant, the show is about a guy who used to be a Michelin chef, and his brother passes away, and he comes home and he takes over his brother's restaurant, and it's a complete shithole where they make like Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, and he's like this Michelin chef. Anyways, it's about restaurants and about the chaos of restaurants. And I think they do that to kind of build the tension, and they do a really good job. I spent 12 years in the food service industry, and it is complete pandemonium. The only other thing that I can really compare it to is like an emergency scene or working in an ER.
Okay.
But unlike those two other things, working in a restaurant is not life or death.
Yeah.
Right? It just feels like
And
it at the
it's
time.
just pure chaos.
Yes. So,
And-
but this show is a lot of talking over each other, a lot of screaming. It's something that you have to kind of get used to. It is the number one complaint of people that go to watch the show that haven't seen it yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So just know that going into your head. I'll be super honest with you. There's the Bear is probably the one show on here I'm like, look, I'm going to go through this list. If it's the one thing that you haven't seen yet, watch it. That's it. That's the one, right? Hit that one. See, she hit it. Jeremy Allen White. There you go. She knew. Thank you for the help. He's really good. He was in a another Showtime show called Shameless, and he kind of cut his chops there. And dude, I did not know he was this good of an actor, man. He has one scene, this isn't going to ruin anything, in this new season where the camera pans right in on his face. It's just his face, and he is giving a like 5-minute monologue, and it is unbelievable. There's no cuts, no takes. It's just him talking into the camera for like 5 minutes, and it's unbelievable. You are riveted by what he's talking about. And he just, like, anybody that can just grab you like that with just their words and their just minor facial expression. Oh, dude, he kills it. He kills it. He won, and he should have won. He was amazing. All right, moving on. Here's one I guarantee you not a lot of y'all watched, and if you are a music lover of classic rock or folk music or just music in general, this show came on Amazon Prime, and it's called Daisy Jones and the Six.
Okay.
And it is awesome. Okay. It is so awesome. It's the music, and it's great. People have rumored, like on Reddit and stuff like this, I don't know if the show has ever really come out and said this, that it was loosely based on I just had a massive brain fart on holy cow. Anyways, that it's loosely based on a band from the 70s, an actual band from the 70s. I'm going to think of the name.
Is
in
it
just
Joan
a second.
Jett? Or-
No. Hold on. Oh God. This is a moment of me being old. But anyways, it's just a lot of fun. Okay, it's got tons of really, really good music. I have the soundtrack on my phone. That's how awesome the music is in this show. It's just really fun to watch. It really kind of talks. It really shows you some good character depth and how what it's like to be an artist and how hard it is to be super creative, what it takes to, and the sacrifices you have to make in your own mental health to be able to do that, what it's like to kind of make it big and become famous. You know, so anyways, it's a lot of fun. It has great music in it, worth the watch. Did we watch this together? It's on Apple Plus. It's called Hijack. It's got Idris Elba in it.
Yes, we watched this. Now, I didn't watch it with you, but I watched it with the other guys at the station.
Okay. I thought we watched it together.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Idris Elba, and like, okay, so I'm going to preface this with, it's all confined to an airplane. There's not a lot of movement going around. It's basically just built off of the suspense of the situation.
It's better than Snakes on a Plane.
It's way better than Snakes on a Plane, and it's way better than Phone Booth.
Phone Booth. Holy cow, you busted that one out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a terrible.
And I would say if you are into, and I think it's only like 7 or 8 episodes.
Yeah, maybe.
It's not long, but it's basically one plane trip that's been hijacked, and Idris Elba plays the main character. And he basically single-handedly saves everyone on the plane. But it's a phenomenal watch if you just want to sit down and watch something.
Funny story. me and Zach were talking about maybe putting together like some type of podcast or doing something. We were joking around on it. I think we were probably playing video games or something together, and we were joking around, and we were like, "Hey, you know what would be a funny topic? You know, like how could you hijack a plane?"
Yeah.
And mind you, this is probably about a month before this movie comes out. We go into this big super description on how we would be able to hijack a plane, if it's even possible, you know. And it's super funny. The exact same thing that we were talking about is how they hijacked this plane.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny.
Like, we came up with a scenario that matched almost perfectly the scenario in which they'd used.
Yes.
It failed in the show, but
It failed in my mind, too.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, sorry. Hijack. That was Hijack. What do you know? Apple Plus.
Yep. You have a show on your list
That
okay,
you can see from here.
that I can see from here
Okay.
that is contentious, and I want your opinion on it. Okay.
Okay, you want to dive into it right now?
Yeah, we can dive into it real quick because I don't think it's going to take long.
Okay.
The movie Creed 3. Okay. I personally liked it. I don't think it was the best of the Creed movies, but some people absolutely hate it. What I have found is like people, they like it or they hate it. And there's not been a whole lot of middle ground.
You want to know what I have down here on my notes?
What's that?
I have Creed 3 written down here, and it says, "How come I don't want to watch this movie?" That is my note. I don't know why I don't want to watch this movie. Loved the first two. I have zero desire to watch the third one.
Yeah. And
Zero. And it has nothing to do with Sylvester Stallone. A lot of
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, it's because Rocky's not in it." No.
No.
I don't know why.
I think the reason why is because the Creed story ended in 2, right? Like, I think legitimately you could have not made Creed 3 and you'd been fine. I think the story
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
was good. It was over. They punctuated it, right?
Yeah,
And to
yeah,
make Creed
yeah.
3, they had to bring in an outside thing that initially wasn't even boxing. Like, they bring in an outside character who becomes a boxer who has to fight Creed. Like, it's a weird
Kind of
way
like a
to get
reverse
to
Rocky? Like a reverse Rocky?
Yeah, it's like a
Okay.
reverse Rocky.
Okay,
Like,
all right.
I
I don't know. It kind of forced. Like they were trying to ride the money train, the popularity.
and my understanding is that they really wanted to do this without Sylvester Stallone. He wasn't, as far as I know, he wasn't a part of the actual, like, making of the process. Like, he,
So they wanted originally the first two is what you're talking about.
no,
or
no,
just
no,
three?
just the 3.
Oh, is he in 3?
No.
Okay, so I thought.
So he's not in 3. He didn't direct it.
All
He
right.
didn't produce it. There's no credits with Sylvester Stallone on the third Rocky.
Okay.
And you can tell the difference, but it wasn't a bad movie. It just wasn't. It wasn't to the level of the first 2.
I still, even after your description, I have no idea why I don't want to watch the movie.
Yeah,
I don't know. Just
I
don't.
think it's because the story's done. I think that's exactly what it is. I think the story's over. It's you don't need to expand. A lot of movies fall into this deal where like they end the story, and then they think they need to make another one.
It's a money grab.
Yeah.
It was a full money grab.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the second one ended just fine. I was just fine with the way it ended. Should have left it at that. Maybe that's what it is. I just was done with the story. Like in my mind, it was wrapped up. It was finished, and I had no need for a third. Maybe. All right. The best unrated or underrated comedy is Strays.
Strays. I have not seen Strays.
All right, it is got Jamie Foxx
Uh-huh.
and Will Ferrell in it.
Oh wait a minute, is
and
this
they're
the
voice
animated?
acting over live action dogs.
Okay. I did not watch that for that reason.
Fucking
'Cause I, like,
phenomenal. You are missing out.
Okay.
It is awesome.
I-
Okay. Now look.
I think I'm also traumatized by live action talking animals in my life. Like from like 90s movies that were like some animal tragically dies that's been talking
sure.
to you the whole movie. Like,
Right. Homeward Bound.
yeah.
Like, oh, where the oh man, dude. If you were a kid and you didn't shed a tear when the golden retriever's like hobbling back, coming over the horizon at the end of that movie, you're a heartless, soulless son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, so yes, no, underrated. Hands down, it is watch. It is hilarious. It's Strays. I have no idea what streaming service it comes on, but it is fantastic. Will Ferrell and Jamie Foxx are phenomenal in it. Do not watch it around your kids.
Okay.
It
Not a
is
kid's movie.
Our movie. It is, 16 and up at best. Okay. but great. Watch it. I'm serious, Zach.
Okay.
Strays.
I will watch Strays.
All right. Another one that did get a lot of attention, but I just wanted to make sure people knew about Air. It was the one about about Michael Jackson. Not
Michael Jordan.
Jackson. Michael Jordan signing his shoe deal. It gives a lot of insight into kind of how that worked, and the two characters, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. The two characters that they play are they do a phenomenal job together. Always.
Yeah. If you're into sneakers at all,
and just the backstory.
Or
of
if
that
you're
whole
into
deal.
basketball,
Yeah.
like it's just a good story.
Yeah.
Of how that shoe came to be,
and it was well done. The next one does come on Netflix, and it's called Pain Hustlers, and it is loosely based on a true story of I don't know if you remember. There was a doctor that was basically pushing a certain type of pain medication, and they broke a ton of laws or whatever. And it's got Emily Blunt in it, and it's really good. So I'm trying to get through my whole list, so I'm just kind of skipping over these that are so that I'll never. Pain
before
Hustlers
you
on
go
Netflix.
too much further, another movie that was really good, and it kind of falls into the same genre as Air, is the Tetris movie.
It's on my list.
Okay,
it's next. Yes, it's right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Dakota from work would be really happy that I'm about to mention this next movie. I think it comes on Amazon Prime, but it's called Totally Killer.
Okay.
And it is the most underrated thriller / horror film of the year. It is so well done, so unexpected in its plots, and like what it presents to you as a movie. You think it's going to be this kind of comedic slasher, and it kind of is, but it's got this amazing twist on it. I don't want to ruin it for you.
Okay, don't ruin it.
Totally Killer.
Do you think they're ever going to run out of twists? Like I feel like at some point, like
no. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there's like a I see dead people twist. That's not what I'm saying. It the twist is the spin that they put on the movie.
Gotcha.
Okay, it's not really like a plot twist. It's more of it's a setting spin. It's
Okay,
so
I'm
hard.
with you,
It's so hard for me to explain without ruining the movie. Totally Killer.
Totally Killer.
Thriller / horror, underrated.
And guys, I will put up Tyler's list of movies to watch.
Movies and shows. We'll get this up. We'll put this on the YouTube page so everybody can remember. You will not be disappointed. I will not steer you wrong in any of these. Can promise you that. The next one is on Apple Plus once again, and it's a movie called Tetris.
Yeah.
And we can both talk about this. I'll let you take this one away and kind of.
First off, I would like to. What's the guy's name who plays the lead on Tetris?
I'll look it up. You can talk about it.
Right.
I'll look it up on my phone.
He has played in a lot of things, and is a very, very good actor. But Tetris follows the kind of the guy who created Tetris, but primarily is focused on the guy who bought the rights to sell Tetris in the United States and the struggle that it took to get Tetris out of the Soviet Union. And it's really interesting. Oh, looks like the camera messed up.
Hey, what do you know?
Yeah.
More technical difficulties. Hey, it wouldn't be a podcast without one. All right.
Yeah.
So while he tries to fix that, the name of the actor that you're trying to talk about is Taron Egerton. And I do want to spend just 2 seconds talking about this cat, right? So he was in, he played the, I know this is really kind of weird, but my kids love the movie Sing. And he played the gorilla in Sing 1 and 2, and he is unbelievably talented. The dude can sing. He is really, really talented with his voice. He's also known for his athleticism in movies like The Kingsman, the 2 Kingsman movies that they made. Oh, God, here's one that he was in that you totally forgot about, where he's playing with Hugh Jackman, where he was a long jumper, ski long jumper.
Iron, or is it
Eddie the Eagle?
Eddie the Eagle.
Yeah, you kind of forgot about that.
I did kind of forget about that one. That was a really fun movie. I don't know that I would call it a good movie.
Dude, it was extremely. It's like inspirational, right?
Very
One of those inspirational movies. So what? Oh, you know what? Just looking at his filmography here, Rocket Man, dude.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he played Elton John in Rocket Man. I've never seen it. I hear it's good. I'm not a huge Elton John fan, so that was, one reason why I haven't watched it. I probably should. But so Tetris, I think what was so good about this movie to me, what I enjoyed about it the most, is just kind of how this video game came to be and how it was not just this straight line of a path of idea to production, creation to hitting your consoles that we all played on, mostly on Game Boy, which it kind of hits on. It was this very zigzag, hard-fought path to be one of the most popular games of all time. And it is well-written, well-acted. I think it tells a really cool story. At the end of the movie, you kind of get to see the real guys that the movie is based on. Fantastic. All right, here's one that I can almost guarantee no one has seen, and this is called Old Dads. And it is a movie that was written and acted in by Bill Burr, the stand-up comedian Bill Burr. I'm pretty sure I found this on Netflix. I'll have to double check that. This movie is it's kind of like Bill Burr's sorry about that. It's kind of like Bill Burr's own personal life story that he puts into a movie. And he really usually what he does is he uses his movie platform to kind of hit on some of the subjects that he usually talks about in his stand-up comedy. If you ever seen any of his stand-up comedy, you kind of know what I'm talking about. I don't really want to ruin a whole lot of it, but it's extremely heartfelt. It's very honest from Bill Burr. He pretty much during the movie has gives you a reflection of his ideas on where society is headed now and how he fits into it, and how he kind of has to make his own personal changes to kind of fit into it instead of just being this old curmudgeon, get off my lawn kind of guy. He has to make some contention or some concessions as well.
Okay. And that's on Netflix?
Yeah. Very fun watch. Okay. Now this is one that I do want to spend a little bit of time on, because we haven't really hit on at all. If you've noticed, this list has not contained one movie from this studio or show until now. And Loki season 2.
Okay. I absolutely love the Loki series.
Okay.
It is probably, and this is my personal opinion, a lot of people might disagree with this, but it's probably the best show on Disney Plus.
There's a lot
like
of good
it's
shows
better
on
than The
Disney Plus.
Mandalorian.
Is it?
It is.
It is good. I'll give you that. The best. Now look, it is the best Marvel show on Disney Plus for them to put out. No doubt. Not even close.
And I'll say this: the Marvel shows have been kind of duds.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I would
sure,
say
100%.
minus maybe Moon Knight. Moon Knight was okay.
Just because it was different.
It was different.
It wasn't a great show. It was just different.
But to see not Will Ferrell. Oh my gosh, what's his name?
Are you talking about the lead actor?
In Loki, not the lead actor. Oh my god,
This is.
I'm
Hey, this
sorry.
is
I've been
why-
trying to deal with this camera stuff, and I've had a complete brain
This is
fart.
why we are slowly but surely going to rise to the #1 podcast in all of YouTube history, is because this is phenomenal content right here. If you need to take 30 seconds to use the bathroom for us to figure out a single name for us to talk about, now's the time to do it.
Owen Wilson. I didn't even get it up. Owen Wilson.
Okay.
I have been a fan of Owen Wilson for a very long time. And I know he's a mediocre actor. I know this deep down in my heart.
Okay. I'll give you mediocre. Okay.
All right. But he is entertaining almost always.
If you like that kind of thing. He's very niche-y. Like, you've got to kind of like his delivery. You got to, yeah. He's got one character, guys.
Yep.
Personally.
It's Drillbit Taylor. That's his character.
So, yeah, it's one character. But
there's a reason why there's no other movies or shows on this list up to this point from Marvel. And
Yeah.
it is the only one on Marvel on my list. It's the only one that I would recommend to anybody. Hey, you have to see this. This is a must see. Now, look, did I watch some stuff that's entertaining that wasn't on my list? Absolutely. Did it make it? Wasn't must see status for me though. So if it wasn't must see, it's not on my list.
All right.
If you haven't seen season 1, watch it first, and then watch season 2.
I'll tell you. Okay, I'm gonna say this about one of the characters in Loki. It's probably my favorite, like, comeback story of an actor, and it is Kwan. Is it Kwan?
Ke-Huy Quan.
Ke-Huy Quan. Like, I grew up loving the Goonies. Okay,
Yeah.
like I love the Goonies, and
If you're
I
from a certain
loved-
age era, yeah.
and he also did Indiana Jones,
Oh, he was the little boy in
Is
Indiana
Indiana
Jones.
Jones.
Yeah, in the
and then
was he in Temple of Doom and Raiders of the Lost Ark?
I don't think he was in Raiders of the Lost Ark. He might have been. I don't
He was
remember.
definitely in Temple of Doom.
Yeah. And then, at least for the American market, I don't know that I've seen anything with him until last year in Everything All at Once.
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Which was the best movie of 2022, hands down.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that, go watch it. It's amazing. It's it's weird, but it's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
But super glad to see him back
Yeah,
and, like, being successful.
the reason why you didn't see it, he didn't do any acting.
Yeah.
He quit acting. And then just like later in life decided that he was going to get into it, get back into it, and then landed that amazing role and kills it, dude. Kills it. If you have not seen that, go. It was in 2022, but the best thing. Now look, that movie wasn't just the best movie in 2022. It is the best movie in 3 years.
Yeah.
It's not even close. Watch it. It's amazing. But yes, his role in that, and he is in season 2. It's just not, look, it's not just a good Marvel show. It's just a good show.
Yeah.
Now, look, you have to deal with some time travel, string theory kind of
It's
stuff.
super nerdy.
No, yeah.
It's-
and it can get a little bit confusing, but if you just kind of absorb it and go with it, it is so fun, so entertaining.
I think what makes that movie great, though, is, like, even if you're not into sci-fi or into, like, time travel movies,
Yeah.
the characters are so good and the story is so good. It doesn't even matter if the science part is even consistent. Like,
True.
like it is a story that it wouldn't matter what, they used for their science background or whatever theories they were operating on. The point of the movie isn't even about the time travel. It's about the relationship between the mom and the daughter.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. I mean, it's going to mean something different to everybody.
That's true. You're right about that. But Loki is the best show on Disney Plus right now. Now, I've heard good things about the new show, Percy Jackson.
I'm watching it currently.
I have not seen a episode yet, but my son tells me I need to watch it.
It's dude, if I was 12, 13-year-old nerdy boy, yeah. That show is right in your wheelhouse. But still entertaining too. I'm enjoying it. A new episode drops tonight, episode 8. I've never read the books. I didn't really get into the books, but the show's been entertaining. It's been something to watch.
Yeah.
It's well done, well acted. The kids that act in it are doing a good job. The story's not terrible. It's kiddie.
Yeah. And like, my son loves those books. Like, he's read all of them. He waits for the next one to come out. But, like, all right, so we've been going about an hour right now. But I do have one question that I think we've kind of, like, come across on this is, what do theaters do in this world of streaming? Because, like, I still love going to the movie theater. But I understand also that home theater systems are getting good. The streaming services are so accessible. And there's so much content coming out, you don't even notice what's in theaters anymore.
They don't survive. There's no way they survive this. I'm gonna be real honest with you. As we were talking before we went live, dude, I'm telling you, I don't necessarily think it's the streaming services themselves as much as it is. I don't think people enjoy digesting their stories in movie form anymore. I think they want a TV series. I think people want to binge a TV series. That is going to be the death of movies.
Yeah.
Is going to be that I can tell if I am a writer or if I am a director or whatever, I can tell a better story in 10 episodes than I can in 2 hours and 25 minutes.
Yeah, and that definitely goes true if you're trying to convert a book into a story.
I think just a story in general.
I think you're right. I don't know that theaters are ever going to go completely away.
Really?
I don't.
There's no way. There's no way.
I think
there's no way they can survive.
I think you'll see a
$20 a ticket to. I mean, we're almost there now. A $20 a ticket to go see a movie. That's no way.
I think what you'll see is people doing more stuff like the Alamo, and what's that new one out there? Where you can get dinner and a movie on the same place, and you'll see less theaters, right? But there are some movies like
I don't know, man. I don't want to smell your beef stew and hear you chomping on some like pot
Godzilla
roast while I'm
-1.
watching my movie.
I'm not near as excited to see on my TV as I would have seen it in theater.
Dude, give me an 85-inch 4K TV with some surround sound, and that's just as good as a theater.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, the theater experience, look, they have upped their game. Don't get me wrong. If you get in a theater and it's got the nice like recliners now and you're, 5 feet above everybody else, there's not a bad seat in the house kind of deal. You put me in one of them theaters, I'm game, right? But the picture quality, I don't care what you do.
The picture quality's gotten worse.
Digital projection, just projection in general, will never be able to match the picture quality of some of these OLED TVs.
Well, it's because the screen is so big, and like picture quality has actually gone down since they switched to digital over film, in my opinion.
I'm not a film expert.
Now, a film movie after it's been running for 4 weeks and is all scratched to hell is it degrades pretty bad, right? And I understand the need, but like one of my favorite things in the world is going to the movies on like a Tuesday.
That's the only thing that's going to save it.
But the problem is the reason I love it is there's like 2 people in the theater, and I feel like I have a whole like movie to myself, and like that's going to kill theaters. Like,
so what you're going to start seeing is they're going to be at first, the beginning of the downfall that we're going to see is you won't be able to see a movie during the day.
Yeah.
It's going to be, matinees are going to go away. And then theaters are only going to be open at night.
Yeah.
They're going to cut cost of electricity. I mean, and you were a manager at a theater before, right? You understand that the cost of, you walk into a theater now and there's 3 people working there. Back in the day, there would be 15.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And one thing that's really weird is like a lot of these movies that got nominated for the awards, they were theater only for a while. Like they didn't go to streaming services. Some of them still aren't even on streaming services yet that are like nominated for Best Picture. I think The Flower Moon is on Apple TV because it was produced with Apple.
Yeah.
And then Barbie is on HBO Max. But I'm pretty sure all the other ones you have to rent or buy right now. Okay.
No. I mean, I get that, right.
And like I don't mind that. Like I like supporting like the content creators in that way. Like I don't know how Netflix and stuff pays their people or like how they've orchestrated that. But like when I go, especially a lot of these indie movies that I watch, I like paying for them because I feel like I'm supporting the person who put in their heart and soul into it. And I don't know
But you're not. When you go to a theater, you know this. I mean, your ticket prices, they go to the theater. The theater buys the movie, right?
No. So the way now I haven't worked in the theater business in a long time, but the way it used to work is the theater rents the the film, okay, or rents the product. Then ticket sales pay for the film, right? And the theater usually only got like 10 to 15% of ticket sales. The rest of it,
I knew that.
the rest of it goes to the production company, to the film rental, and to whoever else has their little hands in the pie.
See, okay, so I thought that so they
like
rent the movie,
mhm.
okay, and they're just taking a 15% percentage to be the mediator, saying, "Hey, this is where you're." Okay,
and then they make most of their money off concessions.
well, yeah, no joke. It's like $30 to get
Yeah.
concessions. I don't know, man. I think the experience is where these theaters survive.
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
But how
I
do you
go
up
I
the
go to a theater
experience?
and I go and I look, and the picture quality just isn't as good as I'm
It's
staring
the
at a
sound.
screen.
They have
Now,
You
hands
can't-
down, you can't duplicate the
not
quality
for a
of the
reasonable
sound.
amount of money.
Right.
Like your home theater system, you're not going to get there. And if you live in, and this is another thing to think about, if you live in an apartment or some kind of like attached housing, you can't crank up the volume. You can't be blasting your movie and like encapsulating yourself into the experience.
Mm-hmm. We'll just have to wait and see. I
Yeah.
think we're going to be in a weird tipping area right now. I was honestly surprised to see theaters make it past COVID, so I'm happy
Yeah.
they did. I loved going to the movies. Still love going to the movies. Take my kids. Try to take my kids when we want to go. I want my kids to remember a time when they could go to a theater, because there may not be a theater moving in the future. So I had fun.
I did too.
Talking about some movies today. We're gonna get this list up for you.
Yep.
These-
I'll post it on probably Instagram and Twitter, and probably on YouTube as well. But we'll get the list up and posted of these movies, and then man, let us know if we've missed a movie that you really enjoyed or a TV show.
that would be fun.
Yeah, I would love to hear what y'all enjoy, because there's so much stuff out there we don't get to see all of it, and
You can't. That's kind of part of my point. That was
Yeah.
kind of what I was talking about earlier. Being in the bookstore, there's so much crap. You can't. You just can't get to all of it.
Yep.
Even if you wanted to, you'd be doing nothing but watching TV shows and movies all day.
Yep.
And as fun as that sounds, some of us have to work for a living.
That's true. Well, guys, man, for all of you who have been here the entire time, I appreciate it greatly, and we appreciate the support. Just give us your movie suggestions. Give us your TV suggestions. We would love to hear those.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
And-
look.
And
let
if you
me
think
know.
we're wrong on any of these opinions, voice it. We will definitely argue with you.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you how you're wrong. Real quick. But no, what I'm interested in is, yeah, of course, if there's something on this list that is a must see for me, let's feed it back. I want to go ahead and give it a watch, and we'll see what each other thinks. But hey, I enjoyed, Zach. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Till next time.